It became something that the audience, not just the audience remembered, but comics and impressionists.
Rich Little, he almost ruined his voice trying to do Glen Campbell.
Yeah. Now, folks think of you, of course, as country, pop, even rock singer. But here you are on gospel gold, and not many people these days so far would think of you as a gospel singer, at least put you in that category. But I suspect you're pretty comfortable with gospel music. How long has it been part of you?
It's actually ever since I can remember, Pat. The first song I ever remember singing was Where Could I Go But to the Lord?
The very first song you ever sang?
The very first song I ever remembered singing the words on was Where Could I Go But to the Lord?
Was this back in Delight, Arkansas?
That was back in, well, it was Billstown. We lived in the suburbs out on the, they finally paved the road.
Or you weren't even in Delight?
No, it was Billstown, 6 miles out.
Billstown?
Yeah. They had to widen the road to get the white line down it. I mean, it's small. But it was the old church at Billstown, the old Church of Christ, and that's where I learned to sing, really. Amazing Grace, I think, was the second one I remember singing. But that is, yes, it's something that's always been close to my heart, and I just finally grew up and realized it, I think. I tried it on Capitol. I did a gospel album when I was doing the TV show, and I think they must have printed up 10,000 copies and just let it rest there, you know, because Capitol wasn't a gospel label at the time. But it was called Oh Happy Day, and there's some very good stuff on it.
Was that the one that had the I Knew Jesus Before He...
No,
that was a
different
separate
album.
single, huh?
Right. I Knew Jesus Before He Was a Superstar was a separate single, and Amazing Grace is on the I Knew Jesus Before He Was a Superstar album.
So you've been no stranger to gospel music your whole life.
Yes, definitely.
And you've done a dozen or more gold albums that I know about, and I've just mentioned some of the big hit songs, but look back and tell us, if you can, what's the most satisfying facet or part of your career?
You know, actually, I think one of the most satisfying things, now that I think of it, is I wrote a song, I was with the Beach Boys in 1965, playing bass and singing the high part.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
They obviously, they hadn't heard me say, hi, I'm Glen Campbell. That's probably where I learned it from, the Beach Boys. But I wrote a song called Less of Me, and that was recorded by at least 100 different artists. And that was very satisfying, although it was, you know, kind of under the rug.
Yeah.
But I think the most satisfying thing was probably riding on a horse alongside John Wayne and in True Grit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Somebody has to play the parts in life, you know. So I played my part. I made John Wayne look so good in True Grit, he won his only Oscar.
Oh, man, a lot of dreams came true there.
Very much so.
Now, looking back has got a lot to do with your brand new video, doesn't it? Can you tell us about this?
Yes, I can. The song was written a couple of years ago, and I finally got around to doing it, but my dad passed away in the meantime.
Yeah.
And it was just a letter to home, because sometimes, you went through it, everybody out there has been through it probably at one time or another, but you get homesick.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't sing that song for a while. I couldn't sing it on stage. I'd break up. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be crying tears of sadness, just tears of joy.
Sure.
But you still can't sing if you're crying.
No.
It doesn't matter which one it is.